the numbers you negotiate are different than what I have. I'm also going to make sure I get all the most accurate credit information from you. Part of my responsibilities is to make sure that I get you the best financing, term, and rates available out there. So I want to make sure I've got the most accurate information to do that and get you the best options out there. Also review your insurance. Make sure that I have the right insurance information because that's going to go to lien holders, so I got to make sure I've got to get them all the right information. And the last thing I do is I want to review your warranty with you. I know your salesperson did a phenomenal job of going over the warranty on the vehicle with you, but I want to make sure, just because of my responsibilities and the position that I hold, a lot of times I get to deal with claims that come back in after the fact, customers that come in for claims in the service department, and some detailed things I get to work with our service department. So I want to make sure that I review some of those more intricate things that a lot of times customers don't get to see. Raymond, do you have any questions at all for me before we move on with this?
No.
All right, perfect. Now, Raymond, this whole process that you and I are going to go through is probably going to take between 45 to 55 minutes. Do you mind if we get started?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect, perfect. Raymond, I want to go over the figures with you. I want to go over your credit application with you. Now, Raymond, just in case the bank asks, do you currently have something set up in the event you were to pass away, something set up to pay the vehicle loan off?
It's just my life insurance.
Okay, life insurance. Perfect. And who's that through?
Allstate.
Allstate? Great. So you have it on your own then?
Yes.
Okay. And again, in case they ask, do you currently have something set up in the event that you were sick or injured and couldn't work, something to make the payments on the vehicle?
No, I don't.
Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. Raymond, your insurance information? Perfect. And Raymond, I want to go over the warranty with you that you get from the manufacturer. I want to make sure I go over some intricate details on that with you. And what I found on the warranty when I'm reviewing this with customers that I found over the years is there's really two ways to really break this down. Probably the easiest when I'm covering this and going over this for you. And those two areas are what's covered and what's not covered. And what I've found is when we're talking about the covered items, the thing that I found the most, probably easiest way to explain this when working with the manufacturer and our customers is the manufacturer describes it as defects. Okay, so defects are going to be covered, and when we say, well, what's a defect? A defect is going to be something that is built or installed wrong. So essentially, Raymond, we've put a bad part on the vehicle. We've built the vehicle wrong. Or we've put a good part on the vehicle, we just put it on improperly in conjunction with another part, so it's not functioning the way it should. That's considered a defect. So built or installed wrong will be covered by the manufacturer under the defect. Now, Raymond, you've got two parts to this warranty. You've got a 3-year, 36,000-mile, very limited, bumper-to-bumper. Okay. You've also got a 5-year, 60,000-mile, very limited powertrain. Okay. Now, Raymond, when we talk about what's not covered, the first thing I always want to talk about is maintenance. That is probably one of the most important things that I've found when I talk about not covered. That's your responsibility. That's so crucial. So manufacturer doesn't cover the maintenance, so it's so crucial and important for you to because of this right here. It's what allows the manufacturer to take this coverage out a little bit longer. When we say powertrain, we think, okay, open the hood and engine, transmission, drive axle, that's going to be covered. It's actually not. The limited part talks about internally lubricated. So when we say limited, it's actually only going to be items on the powertrain that are touched by a lubrication. So your oil changes, your transmission fluid, things like that. This coverage right here, the powertrain, is only actually about 10% of your vehicle's covered components. So whereas the other 90% are covered over here underneath the bumper-to-bumper. So by doing our maintenance, again, it allows the manufacturer to take this coverage, this 10% out a little bit longer, because there's no amount of maintenance that you and I can do to this over here to extend this out any longer. So again, that's why doing your maintenance is so crucial to allowing the manufacturer to take this coverage out a little bit longer for us. The other thing is going to be exterior. Manufacturer does not cover exterior from the outside in, but they do cover the inside out. So that'd be things like corrosion. So they'll cover corrosion from the inside out, but not things that get on the body, things like that. Same thing with your interior. Manufacturer will cover defects in the workmanship as long as it's not related to wear and tear. So something normal use that you and I would do. So if it's actual defect in workmanship, covered, but not through normal use and wear and tear on the interior, things like that. Windshield. And when I talk about windshield is squeaks, rattles, wind noises. So if air is coming in through it, the manufacturer does have an adjustment period for 12 months or 12,000 miles. and that would be covered underneath there, okay? But not any damage to the windshield itself. That would be our responsibility, yours and mine responsibility. Same thing with dents and dings. Not covered by the manufacturer. That would be related to your rye. That wouldn't even be fall under the adjustment period. Keys and remotes. Now, this one comes up a lot just because customers feel that because it came with the vehicle, it should be covered by the manufacturer. But because it can be separated from the vehicle, it's not going to be covered by the manufacturer. Tires and wheels, again, because it's part of the vehicle, customers feel like it should be covered by the manufacturer. But because it touches the road, it's considered a wear and tear item, so it would not be covered by the manufacturer. Now, I will tell you that your tires do come with a warranty from the manufacturer of the tire. So what I would say in that situation, if you feel like your tires are defective, just bring them to the dealership or drive the car into the dealership, have a service advisor look at it, and if it is something where it would fall under the manufacturer's defect of the tire, they'll be the best person to help you with that claim and that process. Now, Raymond, everybody that buys this vehicle gets the exact same warranty. How that warranty performs is really going to be based on your driving habits. Now, the average driver in this part of the country, they drive about 15,000 miles a year. Would you say that you're average or above average? Average? Raymond, based on your driving habits, when would the manufacturer's 3 years, 36,000 mile bumper-to-bumper run out for you?
A little after 2 years.
That's exactly what I would have said, right about right there. Raymond, do you have any questions at all about the manufacturer's warranty before we move on?
No, I don't.
All right, perfect. Raymond, I'm going to head back to my office. I'm going to get all your credit information submitted over to the lien holder and get that loan process started. I'm also going to get everything put into the computer, your titling and everything, and it'll probably take me 5-10 minutes, and I'll be right back to get you. Does that work?
That works.
Perfect. All right, Raymond. I've got you back here in my office. Raymond, I want to, before I finish going over all the paperwork and finalizing everything with you, I want to make sure that we go over some of the preliminary paperwork. We're still waiting on some information back from the bank. So once we get all that back, but we'll do some paperwork in between now and then. Raymond, this is your agreement to provide full coverage insurance. It's going to go to the lien holder. Let them know who your insurance company is, your insurance agent, your policy number, and your effective date. I need your signature there for me, sir. Thank you. Raymond, by the way, what's your comprehensive deductible?
It's $1,000.
$1,000. And what's your collision deductible?
The same.
Same? Perfect. Raymond, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but that's actually the minimum you would pay in the event of a total loss. Has your insurance agent contacted you fairly recently, done a review with you, and explained what I mean by that?
No.
Let me just take a few seconds to show you what I mean by that. It's really simple. Raymond, today you're taking out a loan on the vehicle. Over the next 6 years, you're actually going to pay that loan off to where you owe nothing on it. Okay? Now, Raymond, I know you've bought a lot of vehicles in your life. In your experience, what happens to the value of that vehicle the minute you drive it off the lot?
It drops.
100% correct. All of our customers say the exact same thing. The problem with this whole ownership timeline is somewhere along that ownership, you could have a total loss. Your insurance company says, Raymond, this is what the vehicle's value is. You call the insurance, or you call the lien holder. The lien holder says, Raymond, this is what you owe. Raymond, who do you think is responsible for that difference?
I am.
You're 100% correct. You are. That's why I say that's actually the minimum you'd pay could pay in the event of total loss, because you'd pay your deductible plus the difference in what you owe to what it's worth. Any questions on that before we move on? All right, perfect. Raymond, the last thing before we finish up the rest of this and get all of your contracts signed and the last few pieces with the lender signed is I want to discuss one other last thing with you real quick and review with you is customer satisfaction here at the dealership. Customer satisfaction is so important to us here at the dealership, mainly because we understand that the happier you are with your car buying experience today, as well as your long-term ownership, the more likely you are to come back and buy another vehicle from us, which is extremely important. What we do as a dealership is we try to keep in touch with our customers during that ownership period, whether it be your salesperson, myself, the business development center, or even our service advisors when you come in for oil changes and maintenance and things like that. And what we've done is when we talk to our customers is we get really positive feedback about the ownership or the purchase today. We get really positive feedback about the whole purchase experience. But even those same customers that give us really positive feedback about the purchase, during that ownership, they give us some negative feedback about the ownership experience. And what I mean by that, to give you an example, is, Raymond, I know you've bought a lot of things in your life, whether it be tools, electronics, appliances, possibly even clothing. In your experience, Raymond, when do those things typically have problems? In the very beginning when you first bought them, or years later after they've had some use and some wear and tear?
Years later.
You're 100% correct, and that's the same thing our customers are telling us about their ownership experience on the vehicle is. Raymond, in the very beginning, they are saying there really typically aren't any issues. But as the vehicle gets older, sees more time, more mileage, road conditions, here in the Midwest are changes in the temperature and the weather, they start to see those expenses and the repairs start to increase drastically. So what we've done as a dealership is we have come up with a way to help our customers offset or completely eliminate a lot of those unexpected expenses that they're experienced during the ownership period. Raymond, what we've done is now, when your vehicle needs maintenance for the next 3 years, just drive it into me. When you bring it in, I'm going to rotate the tires for you, get them balanced. I'm also going to change your oil, and I'm going to change your filter for the next 3 years. Raymond, and it doesn't matter what the cost of the parts go up, it doesn't matter what the cost of the oil goes up and what the labor goes up. I'm going to take on that responsibility for you. When your oil life monitor hits 20%, bring it in, I'll take care of it, eliminating any cost and expense and any money out of your pocket for your maintenance for the next 3 years. Raymond, now also what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a protective coating to the exterior and interior of your vehicle. Our whole purpose is to keep your vehicle looking nicer, longer, and keep the value up. So now if you get something on the exterior of the vehicle, whatever it might be, industrial fallout, things that are caused by nature, that could decrease the value of it because it damages the paint, or something that you track into the interior, now it should come right off with you just washing it. If for some reason that doesn't happen and it won't come off, bring it to me and I'll have our professional detailers try to get it out. If some bizarre, crazy reason we can't get it out, I'm going to fix it and make it look as good as the day you bought it, whether it means I have to repaint the vehicle or replace something on the interior of the vehicle to make that happen. And I'm going to take care of that cost, that liability, and that responsibility for you for the next 5 years. Windshield. Raymond, now if you get a chip in the windshield, bring it into me or I'll send someone to you because we want to get that chip fixed so it doesn't turn into a crack because windshields are very expensive. If that turns into a crack or is a crack from the very beginning, I'm going to replace as many windshields as you can crack in the next 3 years. No limit, no cost, no expense, no deductible, nothing out of your pocket. I'll handle it for you. Raymond, dents and dings. Same thing. If you get a dent or ding in the side body panel of the vehicle, let me know in advance when you're going to bring in for a maintenance and oil change, and I'll make sure that I have a PDR person available to take that dent out for you. Again, I want to keep the vehicle looking nice and new just like the day you bought it. And I want to take any of those costs and liability and responsibility away from you for the next 3 years. Raymond, same thing with your keys and remotes. I don't know if you've priced one out lately, but they're extremely expensive because it is a computer hanging from your key ring. The average vehicle out there, when you hit unlock on your remote, the average vehicle fires up 4 different computers on your vehicle just by hitting unlock. So very complicated electronic itself. If you, for whatever reason, don't have 2 for the next 3 years, whether you lose it, drop it, break it, whatever it is, you don't have 2, come to me. I'll pay for the high cost of the remote itself, key and remote, and I'll pay for the programming of that for you for the next 3 years. No deductible, no limit, no expense out of your pocket. Tires and wheels. Raymond, same thing. I don't know if you've priced out a wheel these days from the manufacturer, but rubber is extremely expensive and tires or wheels are extremely expensive. If you, for the next 3 years, damage a tire or wheel where it can't hold air, I'm either going to fix it if I can fix the tire. If not, I'll replace the tire and the wheel. As many as you can go through, no deductible, no limit, no expense out of your pocket. I'll handle it. But Raymond, the most important thing of all of this is, now instead of you losing that great bumper-to-bumper coverage shortly after the second year and you be responsible for everything that happens after that, I'm now going to take that same great coverage out for 5 years, 75,000 miles. So now, when you break down on the side of the road, I'm going to pay the cost to have it towed to the closest dealership. I'm going to give you something to drive and pay for that as well. And then when it's done in the service department, I'm going to pay for the high cost of parts and the high cost of labor for the next 5 years, 75,000 miles, eliminating any of that cost and expense out of your pocket. Raymond, everything that I just discussed that we'll now be responsible to take on the liability for will put your monthly car payment at $676.12. Signature there for me, sir.